Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome back to the Islamic Shahada channel. Becoming a journalist taught me about Islam, reflects Sarah Price, an Australian journalist who would later be recognized as a writer and traveler with a unique perspective on the world. For Sarah, journalism was never just a career. It was a mission, an opportunity to spark change, to amplify the voices of the marginalized, and to understand the deeper realities of humanity and its environment. Yet, from the very beginning of her professional journey, she noticed something troubling. In much of Western media, the word Islam was rarely presented in its true essence. Instead, it was often tied to negative associations: jihadists, ISIS, burqas, the tragedy of September 11th, or restrictions on women in certain societies. These were the images and narratives that dominated headlines, shaping public perception. But in her quest for truth, Sarah discovered something different. Beyond the stereotypes and the noise of political rhetoric, she learned that Islam, at its root, means peaceful submission to God. This realization planted the first seeds of curiosity, leading her to look deeper into a faith that was so often misrepresented in the very media she once worked within. Before embracing Islam, Sarah Price lived as a devout Christian. Faith played a central role in her early life, shaping her worldview and grounding her in values of spirituality, morality, and compassion. She often recalls that her Christian upbringing was not a barrier to Islam, but rather the foundation that prepared her heart for a deeper search for truth. As she later reflected, "Without that, I would never have become a Muslim." Her academic journey also became an important part of this path. Sarah pursued her postgraduate studies in journalism at Monash University, Australia, where she refined her skills in research, writing, and critical inquiry. University life exposed her to a diversity of perspectives, global issues, and cultural debates, experiences that broadened her intellectual horizon and planted questions about faith, society, and identity. In retrospect, Sarah's years as a student and her devotion as a Christian were not disconnected episodes, but stepping stones. Together, they laid the groundwork for a journey that would ultimately guide her toward Islam, a faith she would later embrace not through impulse, but through study, reflection, and lived experience. The turning point in Sarah Price's life began when she joined a student exchange program to Malaysia. Growing up in Gippsland, Australia, Sarah had never personally met a Muslim before. Her ideas about Islam were shaped almost entirely by media narratives, images of women hidden beneath black garments, denied freedom, and oppressed within their societies. Yet, those stereotypes began to collapse the moment she stepped into the daily reality of Muslim life in Malaysia. What she witnessed was far from the narrow portrayals she had long believed. She saw young Muslim women who were highly educated, pursuing careers, and engaging confidently with the world around them. They wore colorful clothing, expressed themselves with freedom, and carried themselves with dignity. This experience was more than cultural exposure. It was a revelation. For the first time, Sarah realized that Islam could not be understood through headlines or political rhetoric, but only through the lived experiences of its people. Her heart and mind began to open, quietly planting the seeds of a journey that would change her life forever. During her studies in journalism, Sarah Price was assigned to write an article on the rights of Muslim women. The research process opened her eyes to a dimension of Islam she had never encountered before, a faith that, contrary to common misconceptions, granted women distinct rights and respected their autonomy. Her spiritual curiosity deepened the first time she entered a mosque and heard the call to prayer, the azan, resonating through the air. "I felt a peace I had never experienced before," she recalls. In that moment, the seeds of faith were quietly planted in her heart. Though she had not yet taken the Shahada, the experience stirred something profound within her, a sense of connection, calm, and a desire to explore Islam further. It was more than an academic interest. It was the beginning of a personal journey, where intellect met spirit and curiosity began to transform into conviction. Upon returning to Australia, Sarah Price felt an emptiness she could not ignore, a sense that something vital was missing from her spiritual understanding. Driven by curiosity and a desire for clarity, she began a meticulous study of key Christian concepts, the teachings of Paul, the practices of church leaders following the death of Jesus, and the perceived contradictions within the Bible. Through this research, Sarah discovered a remarkable intersection between Christianity and Islam. Both faiths revere Jesus or Prophet Isa as a significant spiritual figure. Yet, the distinction became clear. While Christianity venerates Jesus as divine, Islam honors him solely as a prophet, emphasizing his humanity and message. This intellectual pursuit was not a mere academic exercise. It became a lens through which Sarah could examine faith critically, reconcile knowledge with personal belief, and gradually strengthen her resolve to seek the truth. Every insight brought her closer to a path she would ultimately choose, a path toward Islam. Another pivotal moment in Sarah Price's journey came when she had the opportunity to interview Marina Mahathir, a prominent women's rights activist and the daughter of Malaysia's former prime minister. Sarah was struck by Marina's calm yet unwavering demeanor. Every answer was thoughtful, grounded in experience, and deeply informed. Through this dialogue, Sarah gained insights into Islam and the lives of Muslim women that were far removed from the stereotypes perpetuated in Western media. This interview was more than a professional assignment. It became a window into a lived reality that challenged and expanded her understanding. Sarah would later describe it as one of the defining experiences that solidified her interest in Islam and brought her closer to the faith that had begun to take root within her. 1 year after her transformative experiences in Malaysia, Sarah Price took a decisive step. She recited the SHAHADA and formally embraced Islam. This moment marked the culmination of her spiritual journey, yet it was not without difficulty. Her conversion was met with resistance and misunderstanding. Sarah faced professional setbacks, losing jobs along the way. Some family members struggled to accept her choice, while friends distanced themselves. Others questioned her motives, suggesting that she had converted for the sake of a relationship rather than conviction. Despite these challenges, Sarah remained steadfast. Reflecting on her journey, she shares, "What I can say is that I found peace with Allah. I know I am never alone in my prayers. Truly, after every hardship comes ease." Her words capture a profound truth. Faith, once embraced with sincerity, can provide resilience and tranquility even amid adversity. Today, Sarah Price resides in Pakistan, where she continues to pursue her passions as a journalist, traveler, and writer. Her work for the Express Tribune covers a broad spectrum of topics, from cultural insights to social issues and travel experiences, offering readers a nuanced perspective on life in the Muslim world. In 2024, Sarah published her poetry collection, Journey to Nowhere. The book is a deeply reflective exploration of her life's journey, her spiritual quest, and her encounters across different cultures. It has been praised for presenting a unique voice, one that bridges Western journalistic rigor with intimate understanding of Islamic life. Through her writing and travels, Sarah remains committed to fostering intercultural understanding. She uses her experiences and words to challenge stereotypes, illuminate the richness of Muslim societies, and reveal the peace and depth of Islam that she has come to embrace so fully. Thanks for watching until the end. I hope it was useful. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.